Oh, okay.
And that tells you something is leaking.
Okay.
It prompts you to start paying attention for a leak. Here, you notice that hose bib is newer.
Yes.
Okay, there's a stain on the inside of the garage on that wall. You might have seen it. I think that was the repair from that. The stain was probably from a leak, and the repair was this.
Okay.
This valve here is the main water valve, so that will shut your water off going to the inside. So if there's ever a situation where you wake up, and you do have some plumbing running in the attic, I saw it. So if you ever wake up and you see some stain on the ceiling, don't assume it's the roof. It could also be plumbing.
Okay.
All right. In which case, you just want to just shut that off until you figure it out.
Okay.
Easy action. This guy here is a backflow preventer that works with the sprinkler system that's designed to prevent like contaminated sprinkler water from getting back into the main line for you to consume. So that's good to have. You would want one of those.
Okay.
Not having one is not a good thing. This is the ground for the electrical system, and this is your main service disconnect panel. Swipe with your hand turns the power off to the whole house.
Okay.
It's adequate. It's 150 amp, and the wires look really good inside.
Okay.
Okay, and it was a bitch to get this open. It'll censor me because I stand in here. Whenever I stand in there, I get phobia about like ants and whatever else might be crawling on my back. So I'm staring. And the thing about it is, when you're looking at an electrical panel and you feel something, you can't lunge forward because it's going to hurt. Okay, this is no problem here. I think that over here on this side and the other side, you would want to put some gutters on the building because you'll notice that there are pockets here where erosion is happening and the foundation areas are quite flat. So like if you're going to get water into one of the rooms at one of the places, it could be on this side or that side where not controlling water is happening. Okay, that's easy enough. Another food for thought are like these types of hinges. You could put them, you can change them out with hinges that people can't pop the pins, because if you can pop these pins, you can get into the garage.
Okay.
Okay, so, this is the newest appliance in the building. What I can tell as far as major appliances go, like water heater and so on. This was replaced in 2007, I'm guessing. Because the manufacturer's date on the outside one is 2006, and the inside is 2007. It's cooling, it's heating fine. There are some installation things that I caught. You know, things like it's not bracketed down to the pad. These are things Renee and I see all the time. There's not a float switch installed. Those are things that are easy to fix. The most important thing is that it's cooling and heating. You knew it was heating before I did because you said there was cold air coming out of there. So that was heating. I got temperatures in the pool and this is really good at like 20 degrees, which is the difference between inside temperature and return air.
Okay. Okay.
So you're looking pretty good. Now with a 10-year-old unit, you know, you can probably expect 3 to 5 years maintenance, you know, at a minimum. As you need to, if you have to work for you about the replacement, you can explore options. Alright, this is a pest control system. A lot of people don't really use this that much anymore. They're still installing them under construction. It's like it's a system where there's tubes that run through the building. So they pump the chemical through the tubes, which are in the wall, so you don't have to put the chemical outside. Okay? In theory, it sounds good. You'll have mixed reviews depending upon who you talk to.
Okay. It works still?
I would think so. There's a key
Okay.
to it. If you give me a little while, I'll remember the company that installs them now because I see them all the time, and I can tell you. I just can't think of off the top of my head. Okay, back here, first thing I noticed outside, when you guys pulled up, when people walking around the building, and stuff, I was like, what is this? And I said, it's Scott. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Lake right there.
Are you allowed to like take a raft in there or something?
I wouldn't. I don't know.
I wouldn't. It looks like it looks almost like a private, like when you go, or like Shingle Creek, when you go to Shingle Creek and you take a little canoe ride. Anyway, now over here you had some cracks. You could barely see them.
Yep.
Right over there and right over here. This was not wet when I tested it, so you're still looking good.
On the inside?
On the inside.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you should. If you're going to caulk and seal, are you going to paint the outside?
Probably not.
Okay, so maybe just get some clear exterior silicone and seal the cracks.
Okay.
Especially right before the summer. Okay, there's a lot of wind and rain, you know. Yeah. I had no real issues back here. Structurally, it looks pretty sound. None of these cracks are structural. They look just typical. Okay. This side of the building, you see the same thing with the erosion. So controlling the water here would be a smart idea. Now, I can't open this now because I locked it back up. I do have it on the inside, but this is the sprinkler panel. I don't know which one I wet, but I wet one with you when I ran it, so we did run it and it does work.
Okay.
That's the rain sensor, so the system should not come on during or shortly after it's raining.
Okay.
Okay, and you open it up and you can program it to however you feel fit. I think that's telephone and that's like coax or communication.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's two tiny little cracks on this wall here, so just don't want you to think we'll walk past. And there's one here.
Okay.
And then there's one right by that cable line. And they're really small. You won't see them unless you got close.
Yeah.
So when you go to seal them, don't get those. No problem. Now I took a look. The roof is 17 years old. The original. It probably will be the first big expense you'll encounter, and I would estimate sometime in the next 3 to 5 years, you're probably looking at a roof replacement if I had to guess.
Okay.
The positive side is you saw me walk up there, that I was able to get up there and actually able to stand up there safely. Most roofs at 17, 18 years old, not happening. The granulars are loose and you feel like you can't support yourself.
Okay.
So that's why you saw, I don't know if you saw me come down I was crawling backwards.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because I didn't want to slide down. But the shingles don't look bad. That's why I was saying 3 to 5. I normally would give them 20 years. You know what I mean? So I'm saying 3 to 5 probably. Insurance carrier, Renee will help you with that. I know that they often will ask you how old the roof is. The good news is there's no real repairs up there, and the better news is that it's never really leaked for any length of time. When I went up there, I was up there about maybe 15 minutes, and you're able to get up through the garage, and I was able to walk to the back over the master, across above the rear enclosure, and you know you're above there because you have no insulation.
Okay.
So you just follow your train of thought so you don't get turned around. And then I come this way. This is where you have to drop down. This is where the insulation is missing in a small section. Just this corner, right where Renee's standing, right in front of her.
Okay.
And then this is like a front bedroom. So like right at the front of the bedroom door there's some insulation that's missing at the wall. It's an attic wall. It's like 2 sections, it's small.
Okay.
All right, so if you're interested in, just making sure it's tight insulation-wise, maybe get a couple bags. Do that. Pleasant surprise on the windows was that these are double pane windows. Yeah.
Okay.
In Florida in 2000, that's when this was built, they weren't really using double pane very often. So I was quite surprised, and I think they're original. I don't think they were replaced.
So that's hurricane, or that's just
Not
insulation?
impact. No, it's just double pane glass. It's not hurricane rated.
Okay.
It would be better if it was hurricane rated, but they don't call for that in Central Florida.
Okay.
But the fact that it's double pane, I bet you every house in here has double pane, but every neighborhood surrounding it, built around the same time, all single pane.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all they used. It was the cheapest stuff in the world back then. So this was a building that they built, I think, above average.
Okay.
So that's a good sign. And the rest you see for yourself. I mean, I don't really have any major conditions. That's the highlight right there. That's the active problem we have.
Okay.
Now, there's an air condition cleanup that I'm going to recommend. This happens a lot. Renee and I go through this a lot, where you have some mold inside and some organic discoloration inside your air handler unit. And I've got photographs of it so that you can have your AC guy come out or someone come out, look at it, and clean it up.
Okay.
You want to do that because we don't know if it's ever been cleaned before, and it can get into the ductwork, and if and when it does, it can contaminate the house, and we don't know what kind of discoloration or mold it is unless you test it.
Okay.
So it's better that even if you test it, you find out what it is, you still will not want to get rid of it anyway. So it makes sense to just get rid of it.
Okay.
Now, when you replace your air conditioner, whenever that is, you may decide to replace the ductwork because it's a little bit older, and that might be the solution to that down the road in case you have any phobia at all about that.
Yeah. Okay.
And ductwork's inexpensive. It's not expensive to do that when you replace an AC.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
We did ours back in 2013 or 2012. And I think it was about $700 extra to do all the ductwork. And the benefit was, with my old system, you used to be able to not feel much of the air coming out, like here. You don't have a lot of airflow because you only got the one intake.
Okay.
But the newer systems, they put in intakes in the bedrooms, so it takes in more air and it makes airflow easier. So you walk past, you'll feel the breeze.
Okay.
So it improves a lot. So even if you were to use this duct system and just add intakes, you can do that too.
Okay.
All right, but for now, I think you got a functional system and just a cleanup that you're looking at.
Okay. Cool. What do you think about the plumbing? CP CPVC. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine.
That's fine?
It's original plumbing. Yeah, the only thing with CPVC you have to be aware of, and some of it does run in the attic, is it does get brittle.
Yeah.
But of all the plumbing materials that could be here, I mean, that's probably the one you would more likely find. The other material is PEX.
Uh-huh.
PEX is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a lot of companies that, and some plumbers that feel that PEX is the best, and the other side feels like the crimp fittings and the way they bend the materials is not the best for plumbing, because sometimes that tension can give. And remember, those fittings are just crimp fittings, they're not glued on.
Uh-huh.
There's pros and cons of both. I personally see more CPVC in buildings than anything else.
Okay, how long does it normally last, usually?
I don't think that's a known life expectancy.
Okay.
It lasts a long
I was
time.
reading a lot of terrible things about CPVC, and it was one thing that concerned me. I just wanted to ask you.
It would depend on the quality a lot, and I'll give you an example of just how long we think it might last, because the CPVC is just like PVC, only it's rated for hot water.
Okay.
That's the difference, right?
Uh-huh.
They started using PVC in the 1970s, and I have not seen in the 1970s not one house ever having to be replumbed in their waistline with PVC.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that stuff is buried underground. It's under the slabs in all the bathrooms. I've never seen it get brittle. There was a material similar to that did get brittle, ABS, and there was a lawsuit with that years ago, and it crumbled. But PVC, I've not heard anything really bad about.
Okay.
Okay, the only knock on it is just know where it is, because if you step on it, if it's brittle, it will crack.
Gotcha. All right.
All right?
Anything else?
Nope.
No? Okay. I think that's it. As far as the appliances go, I'm only going to make a comment on the dishwasher, because there's some awful noise that thing is making.
Okay.
I can't explain it. It's just a nuisance type of sound. It seems to be working, but it's a sound that you'll have to live with if you use it.
Okay.
So you get someone to look at it, figure out what the heck the problem is.
Okay.
All right, Paul. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Anything else?